right, we are live. Now we're just waiting for Facebook to catch up with us. We'll begin momentarily. You guys definitely do not want to miss this episode of the Cash Physical Therapy Headquarters podcast. It's going to be a really, really juicy one. Here we go. Connecting. Come on, Facebook. Chomping at the bit here. There we go. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Cash Physical Therapy Headquarters podcast. I'm your co-host, Jordan Mather, here with my partner in crime, Dr. Ben Boggy. Today, what we are going to be talking about is the most must-know marketing trends of 2024 and what you should be expecting and what's coming in 2025. This is going to be a really, really powerful episode that you guys definitely do not want to miss. Excited to go over historical data, what's working now, and what is starting to shift in the marketplace that you need to be aware of to dominate your local marketing game going into 2025. Ben, how are you feeling today, man?
Feel good. I'm excited to dive into this and discuss what's working across the industry and what we predict is going to work even better going forward too.
That's right. Okay. So let's dive right into it. So the number one thing that we've seen in 2024 is that what worked in 2023 has started to shift. The market is getting so much more sophisticated. They're getting used to all of the same offers and promotions that physical therapists are doing. And we're starting to see that people who aren't adapting and experimenting and trying new things are falling behind. They're reaching plateaus inside of their practice and inside of their growth. And now a lot of practices are shutting down and they're actually going and trying to start online companies instead because they think it's going to be easier, which is a huge blunder, huge mistake. We've already done a podcast on making that mistake. But for those of you who understand the value of building a thriving, self-sustaining cash practice and understand that that is a long-term asset that is completely sidestepping all of the obstacles that online business has with shifting algorithms, with shifting offers, with competing against the entire world as they copy your model and your offer and your programs, and see building a cash physical therapy practice as a long-term asset that can sustain them and their families long-term with very minimal changes in what makes it successful. This podcast is 100% for you. So let's talk about it. Number one, in the last 12 months, our inner circle clients who we teach Facebook ads and meta ads to, they've generated more than $20 million in the last 12 months combined. And these are just our most inner circle clients. So we're talking about a group, about 40 or so people who work with us to run their Facebook ads. Those people who worked and ran ads for an entire year saw $20 million in new revenue since launching the system. When you factor in all the people in our lower level programs, we've worked with, we have 150 some active clients running Facebook ads. That number is actually much, much higher. And what's pretty incredible about the Facebook ads that people are generating, they're not just generating massive amounts of new revenue, they're doing so at an incredible ROI. Over the last 12 months running meta ads, the average return on ad spend, meaning for every dollar that people put in, what they get back is 6x. Getting $6 back for every $1 they're putting into their ads at scale. So some months it's way bigger than that, some months it's lower than that, but over the course of 12 months, they're seeing a 6x return on ad spend. And so, Ben, you know as well as anybody the power of having an additional patient acquisition stream coming into your practice outside of workshops. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just a nice peace of mind to be able to truly have something that you can dial up and dial down with click a few buttons. You can make a case for Google ads, but we still see that meta ads outperform Google ads. But there's no other platform where you can just kind of click a few buttons and dial it up, dial it down. So it's really nice to have that peace of mind that you have that as a resource for slower months and be able to dial it down when you're full. So there's a lot of peace of mind that comes with it.
100%. And it just makes your networking in your workshops, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, that much more effective because you have money coming in, you have patients coming in, you're getting great outcomes for folks so that when you're networking, you're operating from an even playing field rather than fighting an uphill battle trying to get someone to want to work with you when they kind of see you as less. They don't see you as an equal because they can smell that desperation. They can tell that you really need someone to work with them. And so instead of charity, it's more of a mutually beneficial partnership that is created when you're doing this networking, when you also have a steady cash flow coming in from this other platform that is completely independent of your time. The reason why people love these meta ads is because not only are they reaching 10, 20, 30K really, really quickly, but they're able to do so in under an hour and a half per week, actually managing these ad systems so that they can continue to do the networking, they can continue to do workshops, but it's not on an as needed basis. It's kind of just because they want to develop real relationships with people in town and they enjoy doing it, which completely shifts the marketing model and the amount of energy that actually takes for that to work out. So across the board, on average, folks who are running Facebook ads for an entire year inside of our mastermind program, where we're teaching them more high-level stuff. We're working with them, helping them know what tweaks to make within their ads. They saw an average of a $27,000 a month increase in monthly revenue running meta ads, substantially greater than the returns that we're seeing across the board for Google ads. We do see Google ads being an effective strategy, but we haven't seen many people get above a 2 to 4x return on their ad spend. And comparing that to the 6x return or 8x return that people are getting within meta ads, it just doesn't make sense to allocate budget to that area. Ben, with the Google ads, the people that you're seeing, can you talk to a little bit about why you feel like it's getting the return that it's getting, as well as, is there any difference in the types of people that it's bringing in?
Yeah, so the Facebook ads are going to be people that are going to be a little bit colder. A little bit colder. They're, obviously they're on Facebook and they're not going to Facebook to try and find physical therapy, right? They just randomly came across. So they're going to be a little bit colder traffic. The Google ads, what we're finding is it's very location dependent and how much competition is in your area. For us, there's tons of competition in the Bay Area. And so our ROI on Google ads is substantially lower than a lot of other clinics that we work with. That are in different areas. Some do crush it with Google ads, but we see that it's much more location dependent for Google ads and success compared to Facebook. We see Facebook ads work everywhere. So that's the great thing on that side of things. We're also seeing that actually the Google ads, a lot of people are like, oh, Google ads are going to be a much higher traffic and stuff like that. And they are to a certain extent, a little bit more than Facebook, but not to the extent that most people think. Like what we're finding is that the quality is substantially still lower than people that find us naturally on like a referral or finding us on Google naturally, because these people are just clicking the first thing that pops up. Our ideal client is going to be doing a lot of research. They're not just going to click the first thing that pops up. They want the best of the best. And so we do find that the lead quality is substantially lower on Google ads across the board than general individuals that find us. But yeah, here's what you feel is like one or two things that why our clients are getting the results that they are with meta ads compared to maybe some others that are running meta ads too.
It comes down to search volume and bidding and the level of competition that is in your area. Google ads are fantastic for insurance.
Oh, sorry, I meant for Facebook ads. What do you feel like our clients are doing for Facebook ads?
I'll compare them real quick. But like on Google ads, it's like everyone who's searching on Google, one, you're limited to how much search volume you're actually getting for physical therapy and pain-related search terms in that area. But you're also in a bidding contest against not just every physical therapist, but every acupuncturist, massage therapist, chiropractor, orthopedic surgeons and MDs. Like everyone's bidding on those. And so it's a much higher cost per lead and there's much fewer of them. So when it comes to Facebook ads, people are spending substantially less money to reach infinitely more people before they become solution aware. They're problem aware. They know their back hurts. They know their shoulder hurts. They know they can't run like they used to. And we're saving them the time and effort of having to go and do their own research to find the right solution for them, causing a lot of really positive conversations and a lot of education that's happening over the phones that's getting people in. And so As far as numbers go, right now on Facebook, we're generating like the targets that our people are hitting, in many cases, dominating, is we're spending $35 for every single lead that we're getting. We recommend everyone spend at least $50 a day initially to figure out, okay, what's our baseline? What's our cost per lead within this area? How many leads do we need per month based off of our current conversion rate to hit the revenue that we want to hit? So we're looking at $35 per cost per lead. We're looking at 40% of all leads actually booking an evaluation. And right now, the average or the target for cost per booking is just $100. So for people paying just $50 a day in meta ads, we're getting an evaluation booked every 1 to 2 days. And with the average number of these evaluations converting into packages around 50 to 60%. The people who are really competent with sales and know how to create a great experience, know how to make people feel comfortable, feel seen and excited, and really tee up the future result that patients really want, which isn't pain. It's being better parents. It's being better athletes. It's staying active. People who can tee those up, they're hitting, like you've been, 80 to 90% conversion rates. But we've seen, even with a 50% eval to package booking rate, that is all you need to very consistently hit a 5x return on your ad spend at just $50 a day. So it's very, very easy for our clients to have massive profits and returns with Facebook ads, which is why has been such an incredible growth year for so many practices leveraging meta ads in 2024. But let's shift the gears a little bit, because I think everyone who knows us knows that Facebook ads are incredibly powerful. It's the thing that we've been doing for more than half a decade now. It's a really powerful strategy. But here's one that many of you are not aware of and maybe not have heard of, that Ben has mastered and kind of pioneered in a lot of ways, that now we're seeing in 2024 has been a huge dominating factor in standing out from all the other cash physical therapists and practices who are trying to get workshops scheduled and referral partnerships scheduled with gyms and other referrers in town. They are B2B workshops, and they're going to dominate in 2025 is what the trend is showing us. And here's exactly what you need to know to stay ahead of this. Ben, can you compare and contrast, like, what is a B2B workshop, and then contrast that with what the B2C workshop is that most people are familiar with?
Yeah, so talk about how I kind of came across this idea. I'm all about scale, and I was thinking about been doing all these workshops of B2C. So B2C is business to clients, a customer, right? Where we're trying to attract patients through workshops. Setting up a workshop, they attend the workshop, we try and get them to sign up for an assessment. And you get maybe 5, 10 people, sometimes 20 if you're really lucky, but on average we saw like around 10 people show up. And 10 is great. We see that usually around like about 30 to 40% of people will sign up. Okay, we get 3 or 4 for an hour of our time. Like that's especially when you compare it to Facebook, a couple clicks, you're getting leads. Like it takes so much mental energy, takes hours to get these workshops set up and then conduct the workshop, follow up with people. I'm just like, this isn't really scalable to where we want to scale. This is not going to be a mode that's going to get us there. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't we try and work on relationships? And those are much more evergreen. It's not something we have to continuously do every single weekend. So what that looks like is we do B2B, business to business, so workshops. So instead of us pitching like gym to come in and do a workshop for their clients, we're actually coming in and providing free continuing education courses for their trainers. At the end of the day, the trainers are the ones that are spending time every single day with these gym members, right? Us, we have to do it on weekends, and it's just periodically. If we can win over the trainers and the coaches who interact with these individuals and actually see who has injuries and who doesn't and who might need our help, it's going to be much more fruitful. And it's not something that we have to do every single weekend. Like relationship, much more evergreen as long as you continue to cultivate them periodically, but you don't need to cultivate them the same frequency that you would with normal workshops of B2C. And so what we did is we just come in and ideally do a quarterly workshop where, hey, we're going to teach them orthopedic assessments. So like we teach them the Thomas test. We teach them like needle wall tests, like some of these tests that they can do and visually see that you don't have to have your doctorate to do, right? Should they be diagnosing and assessing and diagnosing and prescribing things to people based on these assessments? No, it's the whole point of the workshop is to help them be able to identify deficits, and then be able to identify who may or may not need our help, and then they send them our way, right? And so that's been much more fruitful, and that's things that pay off for years to come because that relationship built.
Right. And it's so much more evergreen. So you're getting them so much more consistently. And what we found in 2024 is a lot of people were doing the same workshops again and again and again. And each time that they did it, fewer people showed up and fewer people converted. And so they saw diminishing returns with the workshops that they were doing that were working. And they don't want to just do a workshop that isn't going to convert, right? Just to keep it fresh. It's not worth the time at that point. So what we found is working really well is to alternate between a B2C, basically a client patient facing workshop, and alternating that with the B2B workshops where we're training the coaches, we're training the owners, developing and cultivating those relationships, while also giving our high converting B2C workshops time to breathe and time for prospects to kind of nourish themselves inside of that business. So the next time we do it, we have plenty of new people there who are good prospects for actually converting into patients. And so
not only that, but one thing too is because you've earned the trust of the trainers and coaches, they're going to market that B2C workshop for you. So you're going to get more people showing up as well, because they know, like, and trust you, and they're going to advocate for them to show up. So it's going to help B2C as well.
Right. And it just sets the hierarchy, because now you have that relationship. They're promoting it, which most people really struggle to get businesses to do for them. They're promoting it. They're introducing you in front of the workshop or at the end of their classes to promote it, and teeing you up as the ultimate authority, even above themselves, rather than just some random person coming in to do a workshop. So absolute game buster to start doing and implementing into your marketing strategy through Q4 and into 2025. Now, the last one, this is a strategy that if you are not doing this, you are going to get absolutely steamrolled by the other practice owners who are willing to learn and implement this strategy and be consistent with it. Okay, so here's what you got to do. This is why in 2025, it will be a demand. You must master what Google calls the 7-11-4 content rule. And so we're talking about content marketing here. And Google released a research study that basically says that on consumer behavior and buying behavior, that consumers do their own research. They're much more sophisticated than ever. And before they're willing to buy, they want to consume 7 hours of content through 11 different touch points with the brand across 4 different platforms. Once they've satisfied each of those 3 things, you have someone who is a fanatical buyer, and they're ready to hand you money regardless of how much it costs. They now see you as the ultimate authority inside of your community. And so over the last couple months, we've been implementing this into some of our clients' practices and have seen some astonishing results. And so 2025 is the year of content marketing dominance, and practices who implement it are definitely going to win, because they're not only releasing short form content, 60 to 90-minute videos across Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, creating massive amounts of reach and exposure into their community, but they're also releasing those trainings inside of their newsletters, nurturing people who may not have purchased with them yet, and helping supplement and take advantage of that 7-11-4 rule by pushing content through their email to their lead lists, getting people even more excited to buy. And what's really, really exciting is its applications to the paid meta ads, the short form content that our clinics are running. Once we find winners where it's getting a lot of engagement, people are bookmarking, people are sharing it, people are engaging with it, we then take that piece of content and we add it into our paid ad strategy to promote it to the masses within our community. And so what that allows us to then do is basically push out 3 to 5 pieces of content to our entire community. And then we're retargeting the people who have watched 50% of those videos, meaning they actually hung around, they listened to the hook, they listened to the content, they consumed it. We're retargeting all of those people with a direct offer, targeting a very specific patient with a very specific problem with a very specific offer. And we're targeting this to a much warmer audience who have already watched a bunch of our videos and probably followed us by now. And the people who are coming in, the ad results for it are pretty staggering. We're still getting $35 a cost per lead, but the lead to booking rate, instead of around 40%, is 80%. and the average evaluation to package close rate is closer to 90%. And so we're getting people way more nurtured and bought into our style of doing things before we even get them on our contact list. So people are answering the phones, people are booking without resistance, people are buying and making the buying decision before they even show up to the evaluation. And so practices who are really leaning into the short form content game are absolutely crushing it. Their ads and their profitability with those ads has never been higher. So 2025 is going to be the year of content dominance for the practices that learn and master Google's 7-11-4 content rule.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see who really embraces it, because there's some people that really struggle with creating content. And do you have some strategies? Because this is what I utilize, but curious to talk if you can talk to those individuals that on how they can go about making their content go further and be utilized.
Right. It's removing the emotion from the content. Obviously, getting in front of a camera is a really, really scary thing. But if you systematize it and just focus on just knocking out those steps, you're going to have it done really, really easily. So for me, every Friday every Thursday, I am doing research on new content ideas. I'm looking what other businesses are doing. I'm writing down all my ideas for content. Fridays, I'll spend an hour just scripting out some ideas. I leverage a chat GPT that's available for everyone called Viral Intro Hooks. And then I also use another one called YouTube script writing and engaging hooks. And I basically write out my ideas, plug it into these GPTs. They write out the content for me. And then every Monday, I am recording my short form content. And then every Tuesday, I'm recording my long form YouTube content. And so that's the other strategy that's going to be huge in 2025. The practices that start to focus on building a YouTube channel for their local community, because there's a lot of localized tools within YouTube. And then using those YouTube videos on their websites, one of the biggest and easiest SEO hacks out there to outrank everybody, putting those videos in their Google business listing, and then also creating blogs out of those YouTube videos using ChatGPT to write those blogs based off the transcripts from that YouTube video. And then, of course, using those YouTube videos in those newsletters. And so it comes down to having a process. 1 hour a week, spend researching. 1 hour a week, script out your ideas, then plug those ideas into ChatGPT to come up with the actual words, the hooks, the scripts, and then use an app called Captions. I think it's like $20 for the entire year. And it turns into a teleprompter where you just plug in those scripts that you have into that teleprompter. And then in 1 hour, you can easily pump out 5 to 10 videos very, very quickly, just reading off of the teleprompter. And it even has AI to make it look like you're staring directly into the camera, even if you're reading directly off a page. So it has never been easier to produce really fun, valuable content for your practice. And you really just got to get over the fear of doing it. I'd also recommend using a scheduling tool. Like I use Opus Clip. There's another really, really great one. Repurpose is another great one. There's one I just learned about, but that's escaping me. But like a lot of the fear and the bottlenecks are just publishing the content. And so don't do it manually. Schedule it all out using a third-party software for scheduling your content so that you remove the emotional burden of choice of actually releasing the content. Just record it, schedule it, and then forget about it, and just keep chopping that wood and focus on the ones that do really well, then put some ad budget behind it to make sure that it's getting shown to the right people inside of your community.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you got to remove the emotion from it and make sure you're repurposing it. You don't need to create a separate one video for YouTube and a new one for TikTok. And then also use your newsletters, like your blog posts from those newsletters. Turn that into content. It's already written for you,
Yep.
Right? So don't reinvent the wheel.
For example, like a weekly podcast, one of the most valuable things you can do. Ben and I do this. We take this video that's going live to our Facebook group and to YouTube. Then every single week, we download that video. We upload it into Opus Clip, which turns long form content into short form bits and uses AI to find the best, most engaging ones. And then you can schedule it to all of your platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all at once. And so one piece of content turns into 30, which turns into 4 different platforms. All of a sudden, you got 120 pieces of content going out every single week from one long form video where you interviewed a local gym owner or a different OB/GYN or whoever your referral partners are. So that's another really effective content strategy to make it easier in 2025.
Love it.
Cool. Awesome, everybody. We covered a lot of stuff. If you have questions, ask them below. We're going to create other episodes specifically on each core piece of what we talked about here today. Meta ads, B2B workshops, and content marketing going into 2025. If you got value out of this episode, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you want to listen to our podcast, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts under the Cash Physical Therapy Headquarters.